Coming up on WUFT's First at 5, body cam footage from the United with Israel vigil was released. This and the new information we've received.
And the city of High Springs hosts its elections tomorrow. Everything you need to know before you head out to the ballots.
We have a cold front on the way that's going to be bringing the chilly weather and potential storms with it. I'll be timing it out in weather.
First at 5. From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
Welcome to WUFT News First at 5. I'm Megan Hartnett.
And I'm Bianca Smith. Thank you for joining us. UPD body cam footage uncovered from the October 9th United with Israel vigil shows university police moments before the chaos unraveled after confusion in the crowd.
WUFT's Loren Miranda is live on campus where the vigil took place. Loren, you've reviewed this body camera footage all day.
That's right. I've carefully reviewed more than 8 hours of police body cam footage. That footage revealed previously unreported information, which included a potential hate threat that GPD had been investigating earlier that day. Exclusive body cam footage that emerged from last month's stampede in Turlington shows exactly how the peaceful vigil quickly dissolved into chaos.
Give me traffic right now!
During a prayer for the Israel Defense Forces' safety towards the end of the memorial service, an unidentified woman in the audience of over 1,200 fainted.
I think it was me. I think I scared everybody.
It's okay. Yeah. Her boyfriend shouted, "Call 911," which police reported caused the mass panic. The woman said she didn't think she hit her head. She told officers she donated blood earlier that week. The mad dash for safety from Turlington to surrounding campus areas resulted in students being trampled, items in disarray, and emotions all over the place.
And I remember not being able to move, and I remember seeing a light, which I think was just a Turlington light, but I thought it was like a car headlight, and I was like, this is it. Like, I thought a car was coming into us who were stuck on the floor at that time, and I was like, this is it. This is the hate crime that takes me and my friends.
UF student Imbal Amit became frantic when she couldn't find her friends.
At the time, the feelings were very real, were very raw. And I was able to get up. I lost my shoe and my keys, but obviously that didn't matter at that time. I just ran.
University of Florida President Ben Sass reported that some students heard,
"There were 2 pop sounds from over here, and the students near the podium started saying gunfire."
Students collided with UPD officers who rushed to the scene with weapons drawn. UF student Maya Shamash and her sister hid in nearby bushes until the scene was cleared.
To a bush, and we hid, and we were hugging each other, and I was half lying on top of her, and we were kind of crouching down and scooting farther in so that we could kind of try and hide ourselves.
2 hours after the vigil, the area was cleared. This footage reveals authorities had knowledge of an unidentified man in his 60s who was reported to officials for making a threat towards the Jewish community earlier that day.
The problem was GPD was working a call. Somebody overheard their neighbor saying that he was going to kill a bunch of Jews and he was going to get a suicide bomber backpack. And so we were looking into that.
And the FBI Joint Terrorism Task Force being notified. It's unknown whether UF administration had been made aware of the threat. UF spokeswoman Cynthia Roldan declined to comment on making the warning public. UF Hillel and Chabad also declined to comment, but this is still a developing story as the FBI Joint Terrorism Task Force continues to investigate the threat. Reporting live in the field, Loren Miranda, WUFT News.
Deputies in Marion County are searching for a murder suspect. Investigators responded to a shooting call in Silver Springs Sunday. Detectives say the man who was shot died at the hospital. If you have any information, please contact the Marion County Sheriff's Office.
Authorities in Marion County want you to be on the lookout for a man that they say exposed himself at a store. Deputies are looking for this man. They say he visited the county store off West Highway 318 last month and showed his genitalia to the store clerk. The man left the store before police could arrive. Deputies say that he drove away in a white sedan. If you have any information, please contact the Crime Stoppers of Marion County at 352-368-STOP. That's 352-368-7867. We now turn to WUFT's Daniella Rudolph with the weather forecast.
Daniella, what are we going to be expecting on our evening commutes?
Thank you, ladies. The evening commute is looking clear, but I'll have more in just a second. Let's take a look at that live campus cam right now over the University of Florida. Temperatures at 75 degrees, and now this is the time of year on WUFT where we start to see the beautiful sunsets because we are in daylight savings. I'll have more on that in just a second as well. But looking at those temperatures across North Central Florida, relatively the same in those upper 70s, except the villages in 80. And then with our radar, we don't have any storms for this evening. It's going to be a lovely evening to head out. You can see completely clear even in those overnight hours. Now there is your evening planner if you're staying with me here in Gainesville. It's going to be cool and dark. Remember, the sun is going to be setting around 5:30 today because of daylight savings. But those temperatures are becoming chilly again, and we'll be having some areas of fog forming around that 1 a.m. hour. But of course, looking at those headlines, foggy mornings for a while, above average temperatures are on the way, and a weekend cold front is coming.
A terrifying moment for families at Florida Park. A shootout between nearby police and a burglary suspect sent children running for cover. It happened at a park in St. Johns County as children were playing on a soccer field Sunday. Police say a burglary suspect led them on a chase to the park. They say when the suspect reached the parking lot, that's when the shootout with deputies took place. One witness says she heard rapid gunfire, about 30 to 40 shots. Children on the nearby soccer field ran for cover. No children were hurt, but the suspect was later shot and died at the hospital.
And today marks the first day of a 4-day special session for Florida lawmakers. Some of the topics going to be covered include Israel, disaster relief, and money for special needs students. The session began with a prayer from Rabbi Mendel Danau of Pensacola, Florida. Lawmakers will begin considering sanctions against Iran and express support for Israel. A $35 million grant program was proposed to help secure Jewish schools and synagogues. One of the speakers included Holocaust survivor David Shatner, who said that this is not the time to be silent.
We cannot stand by in the face of the tragic massacre of October 7th.
A 10-year loan program for $75 million was proposed specifically for farmers, along with money to provide housing relief. Discussions surrounding increasing support for the Family Empowerment Scholarship were started as well, which provides more vouchers for students with disabilities. We'll keep you updated throughout the week on what's going on in Tallahassee.
Election day is tomorrow, and only one local town is holding elections for a pair of city commission seats. In the city of High Springs, incumbent Ross Ambrose will look to keep seat 1 of the city commission. He is going against challenger Andrew Miller. And for the city commission seat 2, incumbent Gloria James is facing off against challenger Steve Tapinas. Polls open tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. and will close at 7 p.m.
When we get back from the break, a grocery store is donating bikes to underprivileged kids for Christmas.
Find out which grocery store chain helped kids ring in the holidays when we return.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Welcome back. Alachua County officials want to know your thoughts on health and health care in the county. A new survey invites people to share their views. The purpose is to help officials determine key health priorities in the county. You have until January 1st to fill out the survey. The Florida Department of Health is leading the effort. You can find the link to the survey on our website at WUFT.org.
Christmas may shine a little brighter for some kids thanks to one grocery store chain. Winn-Dixie donated more than 800 bikes to Toys for Tots to Marion County Fire Rescue and Marion County Sheriff's Office as gifts for children in need ahead of the holidays. 21 stores across North Central Florida contributed to this year's program. The bikes were presented to the Ocala community on Saturday. This is the 5th year Winn-Dixie has donated bikes for the holidays.
I'm going to be tracking this cold front that is going to be coming in a little bit later on in the week. There we can see it moving in the upper parts of the United States. We do have this high pressure system as well that's going to help to keep things clear for now. But again, I'll be timing that out for you after the break.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Looking at that live cam over Crystal River, beautiful blue skies and even a little bit of the sunset starting to trickle in because sunset is in about 20 minutes or so thanks to daylight savings. Temperatures at 78 degrees right now. But taking a look at what is happening for the rest of the evening for your hour by hour, we can see we're starting out around that 72 degree mark. Then we're dipping down into the 50s, and around that 2 a.m. hour, we are going to start to see some foggy conditions, which can make it a little bit harder to see if you're headed out later on this evening for your Tuesday morning, waking up to another crispy morning at 50 degrees here in Gainesville. A little bit cooler in Perry and Live Oak, but those lower laying areas, you guys can even see those temperatures even cooler, perhaps heading toward the 30 degree mark. But if you're staying with me here in Gainesville, let's take a look at what our campus planner is like. For tomorrow morning, you perhaps want to bundle up just a little extra. We're starting out at 52. We're going to be in true Florida fashion, of course, warming up to around that 80 degree mark. It's going to be simply warm and a sunny day. That cold front is on the way. I'll be timing that out in just 1 second. But we can already see that we have these temperatures warming up just a little in the morning, but honestly not by too much. We were 50 on Tuesday morning, but we'll be 53 on Wednesday. A little bit warmer here in Perry and Live Oak as well. What's happening in the week ahead of us? Wednesday, we're going to have some fine fall weather. Thursday is going to be just a little muggy, but look at this. We're on the rise still. Temperatures jumping up to 86 degrees. We are going to be rain free. Now, of course, the tropics, it is November. That means that tropical activity is calming down. And although we have no new developments expected within the next 7 days, it doesn't mean that it's a time to take a step back and not be prepared. These systems can develop at any time. And even after tropical season is happening, we can even see some outliers. So of course, keep up to date with us if anything changes, but we do have this future radar. We are going to be a little bit warmer here in Florida, but that Sunday cold front is on the way. This high pressure system is going to help to keep the sun out, and it's going to be a beautiful remainder of the week. Of course, we have that 7-day outlook. Tuesday and Wednesday, we're going to be nice and a little bit cloudy, but it's still going to be really nice conditions. Let's take a look at the rest of our week. We see above average temperatures. Those normal temperatures are 77 for the highs. Look at us climbing all the way until Friday at 86.
Coming up in sports, we have a packed slate. Taking a live look outside the O-Dome, where Florida Gators men's and women's hoops are set to begin their doubleheader. We'll give you a full preview of those matchups and much more coming up in sports.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Welcome to your favorite part of the show, sports, with me, Talia Baia. If you're still feeling blue about the Gators football loss over the weekend, I've got some good news for you. Both the men's and women's basketball teams are back in action. The women's team is coming in strong, fresh off a 50-point exhibition win against Florida Southern last Wednesday. As for the men, they're coming off an orange and blue scrimmage last Thursday, giving fans a taste of what's to come. But the real deal is starting tonight as both teams kick off their official seasons. Rafael de los Santos is live outside the O'Connell Center with more information.
That's right, Talia. I'm standing just outside the O'Connell Center where the orange and blue faithful are still trickling in, less than 10 minutes away from the official start of the season for both the men's and women's basketball team here at the University of Florida. It's doubleheader night, and that means that Kelly Ray Finley's women are up first. Now, as opposed to Todd Golden's transfer-heavy team, this Gators squad welcomes only 3 transfers compared to the 6 new additions to the men's team. After an exhibition win against Florida Southern, fans are also excited to see McDonald's All-American Layla Reynolds take the court for her first official game in orange and blue. UF will face North Florida tonight. They last faced off in December of 2020 when the Gators won 89-64. Florida has won every matchup in the two schools' history, holding the series lead at 6-0 over the Ospreys. Florida men's basketball in Loyola, Maryland will follow the men's season opener at 8 p.m. Golden's men are fresh off their orange and blue game scrimmage, showcasing the new look Gators in year 2 under Golden. He recruited an 8-player haul in hopes of putting a halt to successive seasons without an NCAA tournament berth. Tonight's game will mark the first meeting between these two programs. The Gators have not lost a season opener at home in the last 40 years. They're coming off their second losing season in the last 25 years. Reporting live from the O'Connell Center, Rafael de los Santos, WUFT News.
Speaking of Gator sports, things haven't been going too well for the Florida volleyball team. They've lost their last 3 matches. Just yesterday, they faced off against the 13th ranked Kentucky team and fell short, 3-1. With this loss, the Gators' SEC record now stands at 6-6, while the Wildcats are sitting comfortably at 11-1. Despite the loss, one of the standout players for the Gators was freshman Kennedy Martin. She tallied 25 or more kills for the second game in a row. Sophia Victoria also had a solid performance, contributing 9 kills, and Gabby Essex chipped in with 7. Meanwhile, Kennedy Muff was a real playmaker during the match, dishing out an impressive 47 assists. Looking ahead, Florida will wrap up their 3-game home series on Friday against LSU. Over the weekend, Arkansas snapped their 6-game losing streak by defeating the Gators 39-36, claiming their first victory inside the Ben Hill Griffin Stadium ever. And let me tell you, it was quite a ride. The Hogs had a 14-point lead after the game's first 2 possessions. However, the Gators bounced back quickly with 2 touchdowns from quarterback Rem Mertz to wide receiver Eugene Wilson. From there, the game just kept going back and forth, and ultimately UF missed a makeable field goal at the end of regulation. This caused the Hogs to easily score on their overtime possession for the win. It seems clear that Wilson is a big part of the Gators' offense. He was explosive with 8 receptions for 90 yards and 2 first-quarter touchdowns. Looking forward, Florida has several challenging games, with LSU being the first. Head coach Billy Napier is ready for this battle.
We play good players and good coaches every week, and that group's up for the challenge. There ain't nobody running and hiding in there, I can promise you.
The team's trip to Baton Rouge next Saturday will begin their 3-game slate against the top 20 opponents. We'll see if Florida can break the Tigers' 4-game win streak against them. Kickoff is set for 7:30 p.m. In high school football, the playoff brackets have been set. WFT Sports will be taking a deeper dive into the Buchholz Bobcats along with Hawthorne, Dunelian, and a few other high schools on their path to that prize state championship. Tune in on Thursday, November 9th at 8:30 p.m. for our high school playoff preview special. The NFL is continuing its push to engage fans outside of the United States, this time in Germany. WFT's Reighan Sheppard was in Frankfurt at the site of the league's first NFL game in Germany. She'll show us exactly how these new crops of fans experienced American football.
Go Chiefs! The NFL is here and making its presence known overseas. This season, Frankfurt, Germany is hosting its first ever NFL games with 2 games set to take place. The first of 2 was on Sunday as the Miami Dolphins and Kansas City Chiefs faced off in a highly anticipated matchup. While the energy inside the stadium was unmatched, pre-game activities gave it a run for its money. Labeled the NFL Experience, fans were able to participate in numerous typical NFL combine activities. Broad jump and field goal kicking were just some of the immersive experiences fans were able to complete.
As you can see, the NFL Experience includes multiple activities, including the vertical jump. I'm about to give it a go.
As American football is still making a name for itself in Europe, activities like this give German fans an opportunity to learn about the culture of football. Emily Wirtz works for the NFL as a manager of international marketing and player relations. Born and raised in Germany, she said it's amazing to see how German natives have embraced American football.
When I grew up here, I grew up an hour south of here. I didn't even know what American football was. I didn't know what it was until I moved to the U.S. So it's crazy to see 20 years later that I feel like it's hard to not know what American football or what the NFL is at this point in Germany.
Next week, Frankfurt hosts the Indianapolis Colts and New England Patriots in the last game of the series. German fans will get another opportunity to immerse themselves into the NFL experience and show their American football spirit. Reporting from Frankfurt, Germany, Reighan Sheppard, WUFT News.
Tampa Bay also lost their game yesterday. The Houston Texans took down the Bucs 39-37. I'd say that's a wrap for Week 9 in the NFL, but the Chargers and Jets play tonight at 8:15, so don't miss it. I'm Talia Baia. Thanks for tuning in.
And some believe that everyone needs a hug.
Yeah, and one little boy just wanted to make sure that he got his hug quota.
Did you call this gentleman? You called the police?
Why did they give him a hug?
You called him to give him a hug.
What?
Let me see if it
And that video is too cute, as Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office released the cute video after a deputy responded to a call in Riverview. He and the mother quickly realized what had happened. The boy said he wanted to give the deputy a hug and then decided to call 911. The deputy answered the call and accepted the hug, but then had to explain that 911 is for emergencies. Okay, but do we like hugs? Are we hugs people?
I would say I am. How about you, Daniela?
We do, but before I give you all a group hug, we have to take one last look at the weather. We have that 7-day outlook where we can see those temperatures dipping down to 74 as of next week, Monday. But for our highs, we're going to be seeing above average temperatures actually for the next few days.
Thanks, Daniela. And BBC World News is next, and the PBS NewsHour is coming up at 7.
But your Florida news is always on WUFT.org. Have a good night.